Many people have been wondering the same thing. What is the best case scenario for Republicans in the US Senate? What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the 2024 US Senate elections because many people have been wondering, what is the best case scenario for Republicans in the Senate? Now, to be clear, this is not an official prediction, right? But I just want to take a look at, alright, if everything went perfectly, the stars aligned, just everything went perfect for the Republican Party, what would be the best case scenario in the Senate? Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Like I've said, this is not an official prediction at all. In fact, this is the stars align, everything goes perfectly prediction. That means, more than likely, it's not going to be what happened. So I just got to be clear about that because some people, they're going to take this as my official prediction. It's not. This is just everything goes perfectly. And yeah, so let us start with the for sure, no matter what you do, safe Democrat states. So obviously California, Washington, Hawaii, Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, which again, just because it's safe doesn't mean it's not going to be closer. I think New York and California, they will have much closer Senate races than in prior years. But still, I highly doubt the Republicans come anywhere near winning. Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine, I know, is Angus Kane. Same thing with Vermont and Bernie Sanders. These are technically independents, but we're just going to say they're Democrats. They caucus with them. You know, it's like, whatever. They're Democrats. Who frickin' cares? Now, for the Republican Party, obviously Utah, Wyoming, both Nebraska seats. You know, these seats are not going to go Democrat at all. In a best case scenario, I think Florida and Texas both go to the Republican Party safely. Again, that doesn't mean Cruz is going to win by 50 points. It just means the probability of him losing in a best case scenario is virtually zero. So already, Republicans are at 50 Senate seats without even me talking about any of these quote-unquote competitive states. And that's been the biggest problem for Democrats this cycle. The map, despite having a bunch of strong incumbents, is not favorable. I mean, look at the amount of swing states that Republicans can win. Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Montana, Arizona, etc. And in a best case scenario, there's some other states that we can include. Now, I'm going to put one more state in the Democrat column. That's Minnesota. Listen, it could be closer if everything goes right. Trump somehow wins Minnesota, whatever. But Amy Klobuchar is going to win. I mean, she's just going to win by a lot. But it may not be as much as she did back in, say, 2018. But she still will win by a sizable margin. That's the one state that I should have marked prior, but you get the point that there's just little to no chance that Republicans can flip this seat. They don't got any good candidates. If they ran the guy from 2020, it could be a bit closer than it should be, but even then he's gonna lose. But hey, it's still better than losing by 40. Instead, they lose by like 15 to 20 or something in that range. So that's 11 states that Republicans do at least have a decent shot, or at least some kind of shot of winning. And let's start with the states that definitely stick out the most. New Jersey. Listen, New Jersey on paper should not be anywhere near this toss-up category, but the circumstances around the Senate race is so bizarre that while Republicans still are going to lose the seat, in a best case scenario, there is a possibility they win. Now, for those that don't know, Senator Bob Menendez, it all but guaranteed he's going to run for the Senate seat as a third-party candidate. He's a Democrat. He's going to siphon off votes from the Democrat Party. The problem is, well, he's not liked. Not at all. I mean, he has like a 5% approval rating. Everyone wants him to resign, but he's just giving everyone the middle finger on his way out. So there was always this possibility, if he split the vote enough, Republicans could win the seat. But this is New Jersey. I mean, it voted for Biden by like 17 points. And with Menendez being a third-party candidate, there was that question mark about, all right, if Tammy Murphy was the nominee, maybe something could happen. But Murphy dropped out and all but gave Andy Kim the nomination. So with that in mind, I think it's likely. Again, that means it's like an 85% chance Democrats win the state. There is that possibility with Bob Menendez running. And hell, if Republicans run someone kind of decent, theoretically it could be closer. But either way, I think even a best case scenario, now that Andy Kim is all but guaranteed to be the nominee, it's going to be likely Democrat. Now, Pennsylvania, even a best case scenario, I just don't see how Bob Casey loses. I mean, it's kind of funny to see Bob Casey winning by a similar margin to that of Andy Kim, but that's what happens when you have a bunch of different Senate races. I mean, Pennsylvania, Bob Casey's beloved. He's seen as the fake moderate Democrat that his dad was a pro-life Democrat in the 90s, and that's really the main reason why Casey wins by so much, because of his last name. And even in a best case scenario, I just don't see the guy going down. You need Trump to win by like 5 to 6 points for Casey to go down. And even then, I don't think McCormick can do it. He's running a pretty shit campaign, and that's the electable candidate, everyone. So either way, I do think Pennsylvania is one of those states where either you ran someone good, I just think voters in Pennsylvania keep falling for that BS that he talks about. Oh, well, my dad was a moderate, and I'm a moderate Democrat myself, and all that crap. You know, it's like, yeah, sure, buddy. But I think Pennsylvania, as of now, even a best case scenario, probably likely Democrat. Now, this is the funny one. Maryland. Listen, I am not saying that Larry Hogan has a 100% chance of winning. But as of now, in a best case scenario, especially if, again, the stars align and Democrats continue to have a contested primary and Trone somehow loses the primary over what he said at the committee hearing, when you combine all those factors, a best case scenario, I could see Hogan winning. You know, barely, but I do think at the end of the day, he would pull off a victory in the state of Maryland, which is just crazy, but Hogan's the one Republican that could do that. Again, he's not going to vote Republican 80% of the time. Hell, you would be lucky for him to vote 40% Republican. But I would much rather have that, like 30-40% Republican, than David Trone, who's going to vote Democrat 99% of the time. I mean, this is a deep blue state. I would much rather have a Hogan type than David Trone. So in a best case scenario, it's just funny, but I think Larry Hogan would pull it off. Virginia. I think Republicans have a strong recruit in Hun Cow. The problem is you're dealing with Kane. You know, he's a strong Democrat. He's not as strong as some people say, but he's still a strong incumbent. He's not, you know, unbeatable, but it is Virginia. And this is a presidential year. If it was a midterm, it might have been easier for Hun Cow to pull it off. But what he did in Northern Virginia 2 years ago, I don't think he can replicate at a statewide level. I mean, he ran for the House seat, nearly won against Wexton. I mean, that was like a what? Biden plus 15 seat? He nearly won it. But I think Tim Kaine does pull it off, even a best case scenario. I just don't see Kaine losing. It's really funny to have, you know, Virginia lean, Pennsylvania likely, New Jersey likely, and Maryland Republican, but that's why each Senate race is completely different. Pennsylvania has Bob Casey, New Jersey has Bob Menendez, Maryland has Hogan. I just don't think Virginia, though, at this year, with their incumbent, they're going to lose. I mean, unless Trump wins the state or comes very close to winning, I just don't think Hun Cow is going to overperform by 4 or 5 points or whatever he needs to win. Ohio. Now, I'm not even going to say anything. Best case scenario, Bernie Moreno wallops Brown by how much Vance won by in 2022? Like 7 points. Yeah, something, best case scenario, like a 6-point victory for Moreno. Now, Michigan. This is the one state that I think in a best case scenario would be a lot more Republican than some people think. Listen, I still think that it's going to be an uphill battle against Slotkin, but it appears Mike Rogers, if he just does like 1 point worse than Trump, or even 2 points worse, if Trump's really up by 2 to 3 points in Michigan right now, at least, that alone would probably give Rogers a victory. But if Trump wins the state by 4 or 5 and Mike Rogers doesn't fall that far behind, I think it's lean. And I know that's crazy, but the thing with Michigan is Democrats don't have the incumbency here. Yeah, they got Slotkin, but if Trump is winning the state by 4 or 5 points, Slotkin's not the incumbent. She's not going to have like a 15-point overperformance like you would see with Brown. Again, not 15, but you get the point that you're not going to see that huge of an overperformance. And plus, who says Slotkin's going to overperform that much? A lot of people even said that she's not running the best campaign right now. So either way, I think in a best case scenario, it's weird that Michigan's lean Republican, but if Rogers runs a decent enough campaign and Democrats really fall apart at the top of the ticket, I could see it. Wisconsin, my beautiful state. Just a month ago, or 2 months ago, I basically given up on the state of Wisconsin this cycle for the Senate race. Presidential race, I think Trump could still win. I think he will win. But I thought it was over. Tammy Baldwin was going to win no matter what. Well, Eric Hovde is putting the team on his back. I mean, this guy came out of left field and understands how you run a campaign in Wisconsin. Yes, he's a rich dude, but he's a rich Wisconsin dude. He's not pretending to be like McCormick in Pennsylvania where, he's from Connecticut half the year and he goes back and then he claims for Pennsylvania. It's a mess what he does. But Hovde, he goes to California once a year, like once or twice a year, and that's it. And he's been running a very good campaign. A lot of great ads. He's actually campaigning. And he's already closed the gap with Baldwin by like 5 points in like 2 months. So I think in a best case scenario, it's not crazy to say that Hovde takes down Baldwin. It's going to be close either way, but best case scenario, Trump wins the state by, just say, 2 to 3 points. If he's only down by 2 points right now, like let's say he does 2 points worse than Trump, well, that alone, mathematically speaking, would give Hovde the victory. I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen, but best case scenario, I could see it. Montana. Best case scenario, I think that Tester loses by like 5 to 6 points. Again, something similar to that of Brown. Everything goes right. Tim Sheehy runs a masterful campaign. John Tester says something dumb. It's just perfect scenario for the Republican Party. Nevada. This is pathetic what's happening here. Sam Brown, the supposed electable candidate, his campaign's falling apart. This guy is supposedly this electoral god, but he refuses to debate, refuses to talk to the media. He just walks away. And the rest of the candidates are either schizophrenic or they're polling so low that no one cares what they think. So no matter who runs here, I think Democrats going to win. It's not going to be by like 15 points, but in a best case scenario, I think Democrats win by, within a point, but I do think she ends up holding on. I just cannot believe that we are at a stage where we have a better shot at winning Maryland, a deep blue state, than Nevada. But that's Steve Daines' fault. I don't care what you say. Daines and McConnell wanted Sam Brown so badly that, okay, he's the nominee. And we have a better shot at Maryland than Nevada. Arizona. I think in an absolute best case scenario, Lake wins barely. I just think her problem is there's too many McCain Republicans in the state. They're not Republicans, they're just Democrats, but they make up such a large share of the electorate, and they would rather vote for a progressive Democrat than Kari Lake because principles. But the only reason I think she would win in a best case scenario is I highly doubt that she does that much worse than Trump in the state. I mean, she's considered the Trump in heels for crying out loud. Do you really think that's going to do 15 points worse than Arizona? I don't think so. It might do like a point or so. But if Trump wins by, say, his 2016 margin, like 3 points, I think that would be enough for Lake to hold on. Now, as for New Mexico, I'm going to make this as likely Democrat, and for 2 reasons. One, Heinrich is an underperformer. I mean, back in 2012, he only won by like 5.5 points when Obama won it by like 10 points. And that was with a third-party candidate on the ballot that was a right-leaning guy. So he took away votes from the Republican candidates. So that's one reason. But number 2, I believe the Republicans have a decent recruit here. I believe she's the daughter of a former senator of the state. So she might have name recognition to help boost her candidacy a little bit. But either way, even a best case scenario, I just don't see Democrats losing New Mexico. And that, folks, is my best case scenario map. Again, this is not an official prediction. In fact, this is more than likely not going to happen. But I just wanted to do something for fun to see, all right, if everything went perfectly, how do I think the Senate map would look this November? If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.